Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that hit close to home, make sure to subscribe. There's more raw, real-life drama coming your way. The party was a blur of color and chatter, soft jazz bleeding into bursts of laughter. I stood near the balcony, glass in hand, pretending to admire the city lights, but my attention kept drifting to her. My wife, laughing louder than anyone, swirled a cocktail, the ice clinking like tiny alarms in my chest. She always had that effect, magnetic, untouchable, as if the world orbited around her smile. "You know," she said, voice playful but edged with something sharper, "I could leave you right now, and no one would blink." The words landed like a stone in water. I turned slowly, meeting her eyes, not with anger, not with hurt, but calm, as if I'd been expecting this moment all along. "I know," I replied softly, "and that's your choice." She blinked, startled by my lack of reaction. Most men would have lunged, argued, begged. I didn't. I'd learned long ago that love, at least the kind I'd thought we had, wasn't about possession. It was about clarity. The tension wasn't sudden. It had been creeping in through tiny cracks. Forgotten texts, late-night calls, the subtle shift in the way she leaned away from me in bed. Her phone buzzed incessantly that night, her laughter carrying faint echoes of conversations she didn't invite me into. I remember the smell of her perfume, the way it clung to the silk of her dress, masking something I couldn't name. My fingers brushed my glass, and I felt the cold bite of it, grounding me, steadying me. Somewhere between the clinking of glasses and the chatter around us, I realized I wasn't afraid. I was waiting for the truth to reveal itself. Not for her to change, not for her to come back, but for clarity. And then a text lit my phone, the screen glowing in the dim light. It was from someone I didn't know, but whose name I would never forget. I didn't look at it. Not yet. I let her laughter fill the room, let the party pulse around us, and for the first time in months, I felt free. But freedom is fragile, and that text was the beginning of a storm I wasn't sure I could weather. The night stretched longer, each second heavier than the last. I watched her from across the room, talking to friends I barely knew, smiling in that effortless way that had once made me dizzy with love. But now, every gesture, every laugh, felt rehearsed, distant. Her phone buzzed again. This time, I couldn't resist. I glanced down at the screen. A single message preview stared back at me. "Can't wait to see you again," no name, no context. Just that sentence, and it slammed into me like a freight train. I swallowed hard, pretending to sip my drink, letting the warmth burn down my throat while my mind raced. She noticed my shift, the slight tightening of my jaw, and smiled at me, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Everything okay?" she asked, tilting her head, hair falling over her shoulder in a cascade of gold. I nodded, calm, too calm. Yeah, just a bit tired. But I wasn't. I was watching, piecing together the fragments I'd ignored for months. The late-night texts, the unexplained absences, the way her hands sometimes lingered on her phone longer than necessary. Each small detail had been a warning light, but I'd ignored them, chalked them up to paranoia, to the stresses of life. Now it was undeniable. She wasn't just drifting away. She was elsewhere in ways that didn't include me. I moved through the crowd toward the balcony, keeping my voice low. "You know," I said quietly, let her follow, "I always believed in us, but I guess I was the only one." She froze, confusion flickering across her face. I didn't look at her. I stared at the city below, the light sprawling endlessly, as if mocking the chaos inside me. And then I saw him, a stranger's reflection in the glass behind her, faint but unmistakable. The man from the text. My chest tightened, a cold weight settling over me. She followed my gaze and laughed, nervously, brushing it off. "It's nothing, just someone from work." I turned, slow, deliberate, letting the anger simmer beneath my skin. "Work, huh?" Her smile faltered, and for the first time, I saw it. The hesitation, the guilt, the tiny crack in her armor. I realized then that this wasn't misunderstanding. This wasn't temporary. This was betrayal, raw and unfiltered, and there was no easy way back. The night air hit my face as I stepped out onto the balcony, letting the city's cold bite mix with the storm inside me. I didn't know how I confront it yet, but one thing was clear. Everything was about to change. And just like that, the text I'd ignored earlier burned in my pocket. I had a choice. Look at it now, or wait and face the truth head-on. The balcony was cold, the city lights flickering beneath us like distant fires. I felt her presence behind me, hesitant, almost afraid. I didn't turn. I let the silence stretch, letting it carry the weight of months, maybe years, of small betrayals I'd swallowed. Finally, she spoke. Look, I cut her off gently but firmly. Don't. I know. Her shoulders slumped. Her hands, so used to fidgeting, now trembled slightly. You saw. I turned slowly, calm but unyielding. I didn't need to see. I felt it, in the distance of your laughs, the way your eyes wander, the way your phone lights up when you think I'm not looking. I knew, long before the text. She swallowed, her mouth opening and closing, searching for words that wouldn't come. It's not what you think. I shook my head. No, I think exactly what I see. You've chosen someone else, and that's your right. But don't expect me to be hurt because of your choices. I'm hurt because I trusted you, because I believed in us when you weren't even trying to believe. Her eyes glistened, regret and fear mixing, but I didn't soften. I couldn't. Not anymore. You loved me, she whispered. I let a pause hang in the cold air. I did, but love isn't a leash. And apparently, it wasn't enough to make you stay. The text in my pocket buzzed again. I pulled it out, glanced at it, and without opening it, I slipped it back. Some truths didn't need to be spoken aloud to have their power. She took a step toward me. So what now? I exhaled slowly, letting the bitter clarity settle in. Now, you live your choices, and I live mine. I'll leave this party, leave this life we built in fragments, and I'll be okay. Not because I won't forget, but because I finally see the truth. Her lips parted, but no words came. And that silence, heavier than any confession, said it all. I walked past her, out into the street below, feeling the sting of heartbreak, but also a strange liberation. For the first time in months, I wasn't grasping at shadows or hoping for illusions. I was free to rebuild, free to choose myself. Sometimes, love doesn't end in victory or defeat. It ends in clarity. And clarity, though painful, can save you from a lifetime of illusions. If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal or the weight of heartbreak, I want to hear your story. Comment below, share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe, because real stories, the kind that hurt and heal, are worth listening to.